Mateys, welcome to Sea of Thieves. This is Damron with Trash Ass Gamers, and we're playing the Tall Tales of the new anniversary update in Sea of Thieves. This is part 4, which is the Stars of a Thief mission. And this is going to be a lot longer than the previous missions because there's a lot to talk about in this mission. There's a lot of puzzles, a lot of things you need to know, and there's a lot of variation within the quest. And we're going to show you all the different things you need to know, all the different star jewel locations, and then the puzzles, the constellation puzzle. There's just a lot going on, so we're going to talk about all that. First off, you're going to be picking this up from the book that's beside Sudds on the North Star Sea Post. And that's where we're going to start the mission, and that's where we're going to finish the mission as well. So, also, big thanks to everybody that's shown me support thus far. I really appreciate it. Kind of a new channel. Appreciate all the comments. So, keep that coming. And obviously we're trying to get all the commendations, so if you're here for Sudds Journals, that's going to be at the end of the video. So he's going to give you a book, and the beginning is going to send you one of two places, either right south of where you start to Twin Groves, and you're looking for a chest, his spyglass, and if you read the book, it says, it's an island made up of two islands, and that's here, Twin Groves. So you go south, and it tells you to look in between these two big rocks, so you're going to see that right here, and you dig right behind this palm tree, and that's going to be one of two possible locations that he's going to send you to get the spyglass. The other location that he could send you is to the north, to Rum Runner's Isle. So if you see face the North Star, and then it'll tell you, it's buried under a lantern, then that means you need to go north of the sea post to Rum Runner Isle, and then just go over here, and right beneath the hanging lantern, you dig there, and that's going to give you the second possible location. You don't have to take this chest anywhere. You can just open right here, and as soon as you pick up his, enchanted spyglass, you're going to start the next portion of the mission. And this is where it gets a little tricky. So you have to understand the constellations and what they mean. And essentially, when you flip through the book, you're going to see a lot of different creatures, right? The courting crab, the glimmer fish, the kraken, all kinds of different animals with different constellations. Now, the words that are with them, that's going to play an important part later. But for now, what you need to understand is that the particular constellations are actually corresponding to a direction, because the quest will say, in the direction of the boar, and you have to understand what the boar's direction is for the directions of that quest to make sense. And the way you figure this out is, if you want to, you look up to the sky and you see what constellation it is, and you can match it with your book, and then you say, okay, east. So we just found the warrior, and so now we know that when in the word warrior is said in any of the quest logs, that's referring to east. This is the Sea Queen right there, just another example. So you kind of open the book, you find her, the Sea Queen, right? That matches up, and then you can whip out your compass to see what direction the Sea Queen is in, and that'll say, okay, now I know the Sea Queen means north by northeast. So lucky for you, I already did all this for you. So here you go. The sleeping bear, it means south by southwest. The arrow is southwest. The boar is northeast. The tar pitch boat is going to represent west. The courting crab is east by southeast. The glimmer fish is east by northeast. The proud eagle is northwest. The golden feather is south by southeast. The kraken is north. The sea queen is north by northeast. The iron scarab is southeast. The one-eyed shark is south. The snake is west by northwest. The unending flame is west by southwest. The great warrior is east. And the patient turtle is north by northwest. So write those down. So now that we understand how that works, we can do the first quest, which is the Great Eagle Landing. So you can see, I'm sure that this Lonely Isle, so you start at Lonely Isle, it's the Sea Queen, and to the next island. So we know that the Sea Queen is, north by northeast. So north by northeast from Lonely Isle is Lone Cove. So we know we need to go to Lone Cove. And then once we get onto Lone Cove, the next part of the mission, you'll see an eagle that's overlying this big rock. And we know that the eagle is northwest because we have plotted that out earlier. So if you look at the image in the book, it has the eagle on top of the rock. So what we have to do is pull out our telescope and make the constellation of the eagle, which we know is in the direction of northwest, so it should help you find it easier. And then we place that, we're moving until the constellation appears that it's standing on the rock. And now we can dig right where we're standing, and we're going to get the first of our two star jewels. So the next mission is a hunt. This is going to be the final destination is Uncharted area, and that's going to correspond to J12 on your map. I'm not going to go through going forward all of the little details in each place that gets you to the final location because that would take a long time. There's 9 possible quests that you can get, and 2 of them are going to be in your book when you pick up the quest. So from here on out, I've explained how it works on the previous one. So from here on out, we're just going to talk about where the final destination is and where the star gem is. So for this particular quest, we need to go to the Uncharted area J12, and it says, you know, it's off the southwest shore. This Kraken has sunk. So in fact, if you go to that Uncharted island and then jump into the water, you'll be in this massive crevice that has all kinds of coral. It's really cool kind of swimming down here for your first time, and you get to see a Kraken skeleton. All those Krakens that you've killed, finally you see the body of one, and down in that crevice is the gem. Next up is a lost an eye. That's going to take you to Sharkbait Cove at the finality of, you know, you figuring out where it is, and this one kind of deals with the shark, One Eye. And One Eye's daughter is, you know, over the sea, and you're kind of told to go underneath One Eye. So basically go to the middle of Sharkbait Cove, and here is One Eye's daughter, I guess, and then beneath that, down in the water, is the gem. Next of the possible quests you can get is Sea Queen's Promise, and that is going to eventually lead you to the Isle of Lost Words. You can, you know, get the puzzle there. That's how it works. There's 2 jumps, and it's going to tell you to go to the western part of the island, or the tip of the island. So we're going to run over there, swim in the water, and we'll find that gem in this area. Next up is They Were Voyagers. This is going to ultimately lead you to Discovery Ridge. And at Discovery Ridge, it tells you you have to go to the tip of the island's tail in the water. So if you zoom in on Discovery Ridge, you can see, you know, that's kind of the tail. So really you want to be at the edge of that small little island to the northwest. And then if you dive in the water there, again, you'll find the gem kind of gleaming red. Again, you're only going to get 2 of these, right? I'm just showing you there's a possibility of 9 different ones, and you're going to get 2. So we're going to go through all 9. And another possibility is the patient one, and the patient one's eventually going to lead you to Thieves Haven. And this is pretty cool. You know, it says the turtle sees it down from below, so it's really one of the few islands that has a huge hole in the top. That makes sense. But once we kind of get to Thieves Haven, we go over to where the crashed boat is, and actually if you look up from here, the constellation from the turtle is actually looking down to the spot at which you need to dig, right here. Next up is Snake's Deception. This is eventually going to lead you to Rapier Clay, and once you get to Rapier Clay, you have to go to the smallest islet of these islands, which happens to be the easternmost island of Rapier Clay. And so when you get to that little piece, just dig up the treasure. And we're on to the next one, The Man Who Lost His Gem. This is eventually going to lead you to Mermaid's Hideaway, and this is pretty cool. It talks about Glimmer's Throne, which, you know, if you're looking at the constellation, Glimmer is the fish, so that's pretty cool, and, you know, kind of takes you to Mermaid's Hideaway. And then if you shoot down into the pond that's right in the middle of Mermaid's Hideaway, and then take a left before you go out the other side, you'll eventually come to this cave with this large statue of a mermaid with the gem sitting in the mouth. And finally, Battle in the Heavens. This is the last of the possible 9, quests that you're going to get. And this is going to lead you to Mutineer Rock. And at Mutineer Rock, it tells you to dig up in between 4 large rocks. So if you go out onto the island, you'll see an area where these 4 rocks just sitting over here on the edge. Just dig right in the middle of that, and that'll be the Star Jewel. So no matter what 2 of the quests you had, eventually you're going to end up with 2 star jewels, right? And you have this elusive story which essentially leads you to the same place where the Magpie ship was wrecked in the Shroudbreaker quest. And what you have to do now is if you had the crab totem in one of the previous quests, you'll know where this is. But if you haven't, right near the shipwreck, there's actually a tomb. And now we're going to have to take our 2 star jewels into this tomb, and we're going to place them in this face. So we'll swim down here for the first one and show you exactly where that is. So here we go, we place 1, and then when you place 2, out of the mouth is going to become a totem. And there's 6 possible totems you can get, and we'll go through those really quickly. But before you leave this area, make sure you're grabbing the scrolls that kind of sit right here where I'm looking. I'll show you right here, these unsolved star charts. That's really important for the last part of this mission, so be sure you grab those before you leave. Now the different totems, the crab totem, if you're lucky, you'll get the crab totem because the tomb or the vault for the crab totem is actually right behind the statue. So if you just turn around, you can place the totem right there and go into the vault for the next phase. The shark totem, that's going to take you to Kraken's Fall. So if you get the shark totem, eventually you'll kind of go into where the water makes that inlet on Kraken's Fall. If you look to the right, you'll see the sharks painted on the wall. Just to the right of that's a small set of rocks, and within those rocks is where you need to place the totem. The next possible totem you can get is the Scarab totem, and that's going to go in Crook's Hollow. So if you go to Crook's Hollow and go actually where the waterfall is, you'll see the Scarabs up on the wall here. And if you put the Scarab right to the right of that, near the burning sticks, that'll unlock that vault. The Boar totem is going to take you to Devil's Ridge. This is a pretty easy one to find. It's on the southeast beach of Devil's Ridge, just kind of sitting on the beach. And the totem is kind of to the rocks on the left side of the Boar paintings, right here. Now, in all the missions that I've done, I've never actually got the moon totem, but I'll show you where the vault is if you get it. It's at Crescent Isle. So in Crescent Isle, if you go into that cave, you can go left or right, but if you go right, as soon as you go in, you're going to see the moon symbols right here on the wall. And just in front of that is where you'll place the moon totem. Also, I've never gotten the snake totem either. I've done it several times, but I haven't gotten the snake totem either, and that's going to take you to Mermaid's Hideaway. On Mermaid's Hideaway, you can go to the northwest portion of the island. You've probably seen this several times playing the game, but here's the snake kind of paintings on the wall, and that's the door that's going to open. But on the northwest corner here, right up in between these rocks to the left is where you would put the totem to unlock that door. And nonetheless, whichever one you do, you're going to end up in the same situation. You're going to be in the vault room, the same room of the Shroudbreaker quest. And here's where the other portion of the words in this play hold, right? So the courting crab loves the queen. The kraken is the old mother. And the last page that you picked up as you were putting the jewels in the face is this page here, and it's 2 different paragraphs with 1 line per paragraph, and each line is going to correlate to a specific constellation, and that's going to be the word you need to know to put in the code to solve the puzzle. So here's like old mother, that's going to correspond to the kraken. and you have to flip back in the book. So if you flip back to the book to match the words, you'll see Great Kraken, Old Mother, and then down here Sea Queen, Eternal Promise. So we know that the Eternal Promise was the second part of that paragraph. And I've solved this for you, so eventually it would look like this, right? The Old Mother means Kraken, Everlasting Promise. Sea Queen, rowed by hand, is the boat. Warmer Seas is the flame. Without Landing is Eagle. Singer is Snake. Vessel is boat. Eternal Warrior is the warrior. And so now you know how to solve the puzzle, and you're going to light the flames inside the vault. And now the boxes are going to pop up, and we're going to do those in sequence, right? Kraken, Sea Queen, Flame, or Boat, sorry, and then Flame. And then you push the button, and then you're going to enter the sequence from your second paragraph. Now there's multiple different possible paragraphs that you could get. I'm going to show you several of the ones that I got. I did about 5 of these, and I got 5 different ones. I don't know how many different ones there are, but that's the concept. And don't light the fire until you're ready to do the solution, because as soon as you light all the fires, the room's going to close and going to start filling up with water, so you have a limited amount of time to actually complete it. So write down your solution before you light the flames. So you don't mess that up. So I'll show you a couple of the ones that I got. So here, Tear of the Sun was Flame, Man to Sail, Boat, the Warmonger, Warrior, the Tot was the Scarab, Courtier was the Crab, Glimmer's Fish, Oldest Creatures, the Turtle, Queen is the Sea Queen. So that's one of the stories that I got. So I'll just let this play through. Here's about 5 of them that I got and the solutions that corresponded to it. And just also keep in mind, will mention that the top paragraph, if it's pretty obvious, but if the top paragraph is going to be the first sequence that you put in, and the second paragraph is going to be the second sequence you put in. So just be sure you're doing them in that order, and eventually you're going to unlock the treasure to give to Sud. Alright, so before we turn in the gem to end the quest, we need to collect Sudds Journals, and the first one's going to be on Devil's Ridge. And keep in mind, with these journals, you must collect them while the quest is active. You can't collect these off quest. So before you turn in the gem, be sure you're collecting these. You can obviously collect them as you're going. So on Devil's Ridge, if you go all the way to the top and we kind of look up, you'll see this rock over here in the top left. That's where we need to go. And we gotta kind of parkour up these rocks a little bit. I'm not the best at it. I think I could have actually got up there a little easier. But eventually I get up there, and the first journal is going to be up on the tip of that rock up there. And it's not actually a journal, it's kind of a rolled piece of paper. Oh, it is a journal actually. It's underneath that piece of paper. I thought it was a piece of paper the whole time. All right, so moving on to the second journal is going to be on Snake Island, and this is going to be on the middle of the 3 islands. And if we kind of shoot up to that middle island, and then we head over to our right here, it's going to be on the edge. Here you can see the telescope, but if we look over the edge, the book is actually on the next rock down. Alright, the third journal is going to be on Plunder Valley, and this one is all the way at the top of Plunder Valley, next to the, Festival of the Dam lantern that's on the top of the island. So shoot up there, run all the way to the top, and you'll see it to the left. Alright, the 4 out of 5 journal is in Crescent Isle. This one's kind of on the southwest portion of Crescent Isle, and you can see it up on the rocks here. It's just going to be right next to, again, another telescope. And the fifth and final Sudds Journal is going to be found on Rumrunner Isle. And if we just kind of shoot over, it's actually going to be on the smallest little island of Rumrunner Isle, over here, again, next to a telescope. So we got the commendation for that, and now we're ready to turn in the Shroud Breaker Stone to Sudds, and he's pretty happy about that. So once you do that, you'll be done with the mission. So I hope you guys liked the guide. I hope you found it helpful. This one was pretty complicated. It was a difficult one to figure out. And then, of course, once you complete the mission 5 times, you'll be on your way to getting all the commendations and all the tall tales as we're making progress towards the secret of Grand Adventures. So I hope you guys liked it, and hopefully we'll see you out on the seas and in part 5.